Hello, welcome to the program. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Let's now look at our stories. And Director of the Institute for Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISSER, Professor Peter Quartey, is urging government to present a better alternative rather than going ahead with a 40% haircut on Eurobonds. According to him, the decision will adversely affect confidence in the economy. He wants government to get a better deal from the International Monetary Fund. He was speaking at the launch of the third quarter economic report and annual performance of the economy in 2022. The launch of the State of the Economy report by the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research forms part of initiatives to engage stakeholders on the economy, as well as giving insight on the nation's growth. Although the Institute believes the economy is picking up, it further suggested a more innovative means to spur growth. Speaking on the ongoing program with the International Monetary Fund, Professor Peter Quartey wants government to take a different approach rather than giving a haircut on the Eurobond.
Best option is not to give anybody a haircut. The best option is when you borrow, you respect the terms of the agreement, honor your obligations. But where we've reached, the option is to give haircuts. But I believe in doing so, there is some discussion, there is some consensus with the lenders to ensure that they agree to the terms. I find the 30 to 40% quite punitive, but given where we are, if government cannot honor, then that was the next option to consider. But the consensus is quite key. Consensus building in such areas is very key for them to agree rather than take it or leave it, in my view.
The director of ISSER has been making suggestions into the upcoming 2024 budget statement, asking for a broader consultation to contain expenditure.
Fiscal remains a challenge. In fact, the government spending is also an issue. I expect to see measures to reduce government spending. In other words, measures to rationalize spending, measures to ensure that some of this off-budget spending that creates problems are reduced or eliminated, measures to ensure that our tax collection is more efficient, measures to ensure that we have value for money spending. Then there are some roads that link to productive or production areas, some to farms, some to cocoa growing areas. In as much as we don't have a lot of money, we should continue to, if not construct new ones, maintain existing roads.
As the Finance Minister prepares to present the 2024 budget and economic statements, industry players are calling for a sensitive approach towards expansion of the manufacturing sector. A procurement specialist and lecturer at the University of Institute of Management and Public Administration, Dr. Kyonksen Pemte, is calling on the Public Accounts Committee to strengthen sanctions on MMDAs to help reduce irregularities at the local government level. According to him, stiffening sanctions is one of the critical ways of empowering institutions to engage in prudent spending.
Quite recently, I chanced on a directive from the Public Procurement Authority that is implementing the GANEPs.
Yeah.
And I think kudos to them. It's a very fantastic initiative. Try to ensure that we use that enterprise resource planning platform to execute procurement. If we are able to give ourselves a target that year on year, we would like to achieve by the next 3 years, achieve about 90% of every procurable activity in the public sector space, leveraging on GANEP to do the sourcing within the procure to implement cycle, there's going to be significant reduction in these irregularities and its associated financial, negative financial impact to public financial discipline and then the budget issues that we have. I think PAC should continue to do their work, and to the extent that they will follow up to enforce the sanctions regime and get people punished and deepen the level of stiffness of the punishment for non-compliance. This, within the short term, could resolve or reduce drastically the level of infractions.
The Social Security and National Insurance Trust (SNIT) is targeting 1 million informal sector workers by close of the year for its self-employed enrollment drive. According to its Director General, Dr. John Ofori Tinkran, His outfit is working to support the informal sector to appreciate the importance of insurance. This, he says, would also boost its operations in the long run. He spoke to Joy Business at a stakeholder engagement in partnership with the Trades Union Congress.
There's 6.7 million people. About 3.1 million of them are those that are between the ages of 15 and 45 who, by law, can join the scheme. So I guess one would say the total field out there is about 3 million, 3.1. If I look at the trajectory that we've been on, when we started just a little less than a year ago with about 14,000, and then we've gone through a double to 28,000 and doubled again to 56,000, and we've passed 56,000. We are now at 57. I am hoping that maybe by the end of the year, we should probably go through another double and get about another 100,000 or so. But if we stay on that same growth path, then within a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, we should definitely hit the 1 million mark. The objective is that we should get to a point in this country where people who are self-employed also can avail themselves to the same pension products that the people who work in offices avail themselves to.
The Association of Ghana Industries is asking the Ghana Investment Promotion Center to devise strategies for local businesses to benefit from the inflow of foreign direct investments. This comes after the GIPC indicated that more investors are interested in investing in Ghana's economy. The Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association, Tiona Mapelu, made the call when he spoke to Joy Business at the 10th edition of the Ghana CSR Excellence Awards.
The AGI at the CSR Excellence Awards called on corporate entities to be heavy on corporate social responsibility. This, according to Chonam, would aid in the expansion of their operations. He further called on the GIPC to support local businesses through their engagement with foreign investors.
Foreign direct investment naturally is not bad, but our interest is who controls the investment or the business. If you look at it carefully, most of these investments are not controlled by Ghanaians. They are controlled by people who are not Ghanaians. What it means is that when they make profits, they almost take the entire profit out of the country. So you have an annual cycle of having to deal with inflationary pressures and issues of your currency, because as foreign investors cash out their money at the end of the year, your economy struggles. You have serious foreign exchange issues. So we in AGI believes that the only way to deal with this is to look at the foreign direct investment policy in a way that local businesses are favored. We want to see a situation where there's a clear partnership between foreign direct investors and local investors. We want to see an equity law, a law that says that you cannot come to Ghana and own 100% and cash out every money. We want to see a situation where there's always a partnership so that Ghanaian entrepreneurs can be promoted.
Co-founder for the Center for CSR West Africa, Kojo Williams, commended some local businesses on their effort to make CSR a key component of their operation.
It's been a very challenging 10 years because when we started, a lot of Ghanaian companies did not even understand what CSR meant. In fact, there were PR managers that were supposed to even understand what corporate social responsibility is, but some of them did not. And those who even understood a bit had so many misconceptions about it. Some think that CSR, in the past, some used to think that CSR is something that you do once a year. Others think that it is something that you do only when you make profit. Others also think that CSR was not meant for them. It was meant for the blue chip companies, the big companies that have the big budgets. And some even also used to think that CSR was just meant for the extractives, those whose activities impact a society or environment negatively. But over the past 10 years, this has changed. Here tonight, you can see representation from normal Ghanaian-owned companies.
The CSR Excellence Awards are organized by the Center for West Africa, a key advocate for corporate social responsibility in the region. The awards serve as a platform to recognize and celebrate companies contributing significantly to sustainable development and social responsibility. James Echen's report for Joy Business.
On to some other stories, the Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu, has stated that the commissioning of Ghana's first batch of trading standard inspectors will further ensure that all goods produced and traded in the country meet international standards. According to him, the Ghana Standards Authority Act 1078, mandates the appointment of inspectors for trading and services. He has been speaking after the commissioning of the first batch of trading standard inspectors.
The commissioning of Ghana's first batch of trading standard inspectors is an initiative under the Ghana National Quality Policy. The policy is aimed at ensuring goods and services produced and traded in Ghana matches the expectation of consumers and standards in the country. The Ghana Standards Authority Act 1078-2022 mandates the appointment of inspectors for trading and services as well as weight and measures. In his address, the Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu, explained that the move will ensure value for money.
The inspector shall examine every weight, measure, or instrument for trade and industry, including health, safety, and environment devices. Secondly, the inspector shall compare the weight and measure with the working standard to ensure that they are accurate. Honorable Chief of Staff, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the whole purposes of this act is to ensure fairness in trading and that consumers get value for money. The act goes further to prescribe administrative penalties under Section 73 that will be applied in cases of defaults.
The Chief of Staff, Akosia Frema Osei-Opare, reiterated government's commitment to ensure high standards of products and services.
As a nation, committed to transforming our national economy from agriculture and export of raw produce to value addition through manufacturing and rapid industrialization, we cannot turn a blind eye to these challenges, but act and act properly now. It is against this background that Cabinet in April 2022, gave approval to Ghana's first ever national quality policy.
Chairman of the Governing Board of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Felix Charles Mills Robertson, stated that the enforcement of standards will create a robust SME sector.
Their role is pivotal in upholding fair competition, preventing fraud, and maintaining high-quality products and services throughout the nation, our nation. The introduction of the TSIs is a clear indication that Ghana is resolute in building a robust economy based on principles of accountability and fairness. By enforcing regulations, combating counterfeit goods, and addressing deceptive practices, we will create an environment where businesses can thrive and consumers can confidently make informed choices.
The enforcement team will be responsible for checking the quality of goods and services on the market while collecting samples for testing and gathering evidence for prosecution.
A reminder, you're still watching Business Live with me, Pius Kojo Baka. We've got more for you after this break. Hello, welcome back to Business Live. Now, the Bank of Ghana has revealed that more investors have expressed interest in the country's fintech sector due to the tremendous improvement in the fight against money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism. According to Deputy Director in charge of Fintech and Innovation Office at the Bank of Ghana, Clarence Blay, they are taking steps to prune down the activities of money laundering and financing terrorism within the fintech sector. Here's more.
Figures released by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime have shown that money laundering transactions are estimated to cost economies between $1 to $3 trillion annually, representing 2 to 5% of global GDP. To this end, the central bank says it will continue to intensify its sensitization programs for fintech companies to drive more investors to the sector. Clarence Blay is the Deputy Director of Fintech and Innovation Office at the Bank of Ghana.
As Ghanaians begin to trust and adopt fintech solutions to access financial services, it is important that we weed out potential risks in the space. It doesn't mean that we say the space is full of risks. No, risks is dynamic, and therefore we always have to keep abreast with development in the space by engaging with stakeholders to make sure that we come together, discuss issues, and take preemptive measures to avert potential risks in the AML CFT space. A lot of investors also have shown interest in the Ghanaian fintech ecosystem.
Speaking to Joy Business at a capacity building workshop for fintechs, Chief Executive Officer of Financial Intelligence Center, Kwekudia, said although there's been some tremendous improvements in anti-money laundering activities, they will continue to enhance sensitization programs for players within the financial space to counter the menace.
We have to be serious with the fintech sector. And that's why we are meeting them to let them know, the work at hand, so that together we can do the job. We are now sensitizing them. In fact, they don't seem to have any much idea when it comes to AML CFT. So we are now sensitizing them, and this is the maiden meeting. And like I said, it's not going to be the first time. In fact, we keep meeting them. To ensure that they have a grip over the AML CFT issues.
The workshop brought together various players within the fintech sector.
More within the financial space, and some rural banks continue to record growth in profit margins and other, despite the negative impact of Ghana's domestic debt exchange program with the IMF. Now, if before the end of its financial year, the Echima Kwanwuma Rural Bank is recording improved profits and compared to previous years, according to Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Samuel Bonso, customer satisfaction is driving gains. Anaya Ojima has more.
Ghana's implementation of the domestic debt exchange program was envisaged to lead to decline in profitability of commercial banks. Pressure on banks' solvency and liquidity issues were heightened. Nonetheless, the Achuma Kwahoma Rural Bank has already exceeded the previous year's profit margin of 7 million cedis, 3 months ahead of the end of year. Though the figures are yet to be released, the bank says prudent management together with customer satisfaction have driven the growth. Samuel Bonsu is Chief Executive Officer.
We've managed to put strategies in place to overcome the challenges that came along with it. And so I can say that as we speak, the profit that we have made as at the end of August was more than the profit that we made for the whole of last year. And so it shows you that we are actually moving in the right direction. We believe that in spite of the economic challenges, the bank is well poised to make good profit for all our shareholders. And as I indicated earlier, it's not only profit that we are interested in. We want to have a sound and healthy bank. Every bank thrives on a good reputation. And this Achuma Kwahoma Rural Bank has in abundance. We've been in existence for 40 years. And we have a good track record. So customers are comfortable working with us.
As part of events preceding the bank's 40th anniversary, customers joined staff of the bank for a health walk within parts of Kumasi. It was climaxed with a free health screening, including a breast screening for women. Board Chairman Emmanuel Osubonsu explains the bank is using the anniversary celebration to build synergy among stakeholders.
With this exercise, people are free, they feel liberated in a sense, they feel relaxed and they can express themselves, they dance together, there's no shyness, so it brings togetherness among both the workers, the management and even the board.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
And finally, before we go, British Airways is set to launch 3 new daily flights on the Gatwick-Accra-Gatwick route from the end of October this year. The move by the airline is to offer more options to persons flying on the London-Accra-London route. Moran Berger is British Airways' head of sales for Africa, Middle East and South Asia.
Been flying to Ghana for over 85 years. We've just celebrated our 86th year, and clearly this is a market that's incredibly important to us. It's a market that we value tremendously, and we've seen demand increase, and we wanted to react to that demand and give our customers in Ghana more choice, more flexibility, and an additional gateway into London. So we now, today we launch our inaugural flight into London Gatwick. We're going to have 3 flights a week into London Gatwick. That's in addition to our daily service into Heathrow Airport. And I'm really excited to say that even though we launch it today, by spring next year we're going to be increasing our frequency into Gatwick to 4 a week, as well as the daily Heathrow service.
And that's how we part company here on Business Live. I am Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business for all the business stories you need to know in Ghana and beyond. Always a joy serving you. Bye.